going to be the quick start. So if you already watched the previous video, you're already going to be familiar with GitHub. So let's go ahead and let's do the same thing, except instead of using your own repository, this time we're going to be using an existing repository that already has the code that you'll need. So I'm going to go ahead and head over to github.com, that you guys can see over here, and I'm going to go ahead and head over to this repository. This repository, by the way, will be inside the Instructable, so no worries if you don't have it now. What we're going to do is we'll go to code, and we'll click this copy button right here. This copy button will always have the stable main branch or the stable build, meaning the stuff always works. So you won't need to worry about anything like having to change your versions or change your branches. So go ahead and click this copy button. And what we're going to do is, similar to our Serendipity Backpack tutorial, we're going ahead and we're going to clone into our original repository. So this is what it looks like when you have the main branch. So what I'm going to do is we'll do the same thing again. File, new, project from version control. I'm going to go ahead and copy this again, except this time I'm going to give it a different name because I already have one on the left, and we're going to call this quick start. And I'll call this quick start underscore backpack. That way I can differentiate them. Now I'm going to clone. It's going to take a second. And we're going to be doing the same thing. So I'll bring this up here again. And so there's a couple things that we need to do as part of the quick start, which is we need to make sure that we open up a terminal and make sure that we have everything. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to ls everything to list everything. And I don't want to be in this root repository. I want to be inside this folder right here. So I'm going to go cd dash tab to autocomplete, and I can ls and see, wow, I have a lot of different things now. And see, if I even go into the source file and ls, there's a lot of different components. So I'm going to go back cd dot dot. And what we're going to do is we're going to check if we have npm. So we're going to say npm dash dash version. And see, we have npm here, which is great. We already did this in the last video. Now what we're going to do is we're also going to make sure that we have view. So I'm going to say view dash dash version as well. And look, we already have view, which is great. Now, if we run a local development server, if you remember that's npm run serve, we're going to see something interesting. It says, look, there's an error here. Let's look at the error. View CLI service, this is probably an npm. We're missing this package. So what we probably need to do first is we're going to do npm run install. And it's saying, okay, wait, stop. The npm stuff that you're having here, it doesn't really work. And see, if I open my source files, oops, you can see that we do have everything, but it's kind of weird. We're missing a node module. So it's saying, that's kind of weird. So what we can do is we're probably missing over here inside our plugins, we're probably missing the Vuetify JS framework. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing inside our dashboard folder. We're going to say view add Vuetify, and this might take a second. And so as this is downloading, we can see that over here there's nothing in our default change list. But once this happens, we can see that there will be a lot of changes inside our default change list, which is basically Git, our version control system, the way that we keep track of what's changed, like our Google Drive saved history, is going to say, hey, look, there's some things that you have changed. Do you want to make sure you commit it as in, hey, I actually want these changes? Do you want to roll back, which means I don't actually want these things? Or do you want to commit and push, add it even to the main branch? We're going to go with default. For the Vuetify configurations right here. And you can see that I have all of these things right here. Run serve. Oops. There we go. Now I can run our local development server, and you can see, wow, look, we have a lot of extra things over here. And so what we're going to do from here is, one second, we'll wait for our local development server first, and then we'll do the next part. So yeah, let's just wait for our local development server first. You can see that although it's taking a long time to run, after you run it a couple times, the first time you run it, it'll take longer, but then after that, your computer will be able to optimize it. The first time is always the hardest. Great. So you can see that the reason why we weren't able to run earlier was because we were missing a key dependency, which was Vuetify. We'll talk about Vuetify in a second. But let's go ahead and let's just go to localhost, and you can see that we already have our boilerplate for our Vuetify template. Now let's go over Vuetify real quickly, and then we'll head back to our and then we'll head back to what we were doing in the beginning, which was our quick start. Vuetify JS is what we'll be using because of its incredibly powerful abilities to make very beautiful components for the front end super easily. So for example, I'm just going to grab my favorite example, which is our cards, which we use very, very frequently in our tutorial. You can see that you can make beautiful things like this with very little code. And you'll be able to see that inside our project, we have a lot of these. For example, in curriculum main, you can see that these, inside curriculum main, yes. You'll be able to see that there's a lot of different Vuetify JS components that are happening here. For example, we have expansion panels, and we have the whole expansion panel set up here. So let's go ahead and let's figure out, for example, why though we have this weird Vuetify thing, because I thought that we had our actual main branch, our stable build, which is right. I'm not lying to you. Let's check in our commits real quick, and we can check our app.view, and look, it has replaced what original code we had, router view, which holds our view router, which is how we get from place to place, and has replaced it with these Vuetify things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, right click, and click rollback, because we want our original changes. Now that we have our Vuetify JS stuff, we want to keep it rolled back. You can see now we have everything over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make sure to commit these files though, because these files are what's going to keep our Vuetify JS in here. For example, you can see that we have our Vue CLI plugin for Vuetify right here. And in our default changelog, you can see that we also have our Vuetify stuff over there. So I'm going to write a commit message, added Vuetify, and I'm going to commit. And you can also go ahead and commit and push right here. Committing and pushing will go ahead and add all of those files there. So let's go ahead and let's check out our website real quick. We'll click our sign into Google, and you can see that it works immediately.